In the event of a disciplined functioning of life, we witness that there is a very close alliance between mind and heart. So that whatever affects the one may be expected to produce an effect upon the other. From this fact, it can be deduced that a practical lesson of great importance is too often not taken into consideration. It is that if we neglect the claims of our hearts in order to devote ourselves more exclusively to the cultivation of our minds, the negation of our hearts will impair our intellectual powers, and it is not unlikely that in the end we may harm mind and heart together. Mind and heart seem mutually to act upon as cause and effect. The commonest way in which the heart acts upon the mind is by the organs of sensation. Anything our heart linked organs of sensation produces a corresponding reaction in the mind. When something presents itself before our eyes or nose, our mind has a sensation of sight or of smell. But there can never be a second opinion that in the movement of human beings attaining the locus of God's best creation, the heart is God to be offered the driving seat. No doubt the mind bestows the living things with instinct and reason. It gives automatic action and intuition. It provides with logic and rationality. But we all will certainly agree that it is not only the mechanical actions of instinct like typewriting, cycling, dancing, or anything that one does without conscious thought can make human body different and superior from lower animals. The great George Bernard Shaw has rightly observed that the man who listens to reason and instincts is lost. Reason and instincts enslave all whose minds are not strong enough to master them. In fact, it is the wonderful rainbow of heartfelt feelings that places the mankind atop of all living organisms. When heart opens its floodgate of feelings, only then the mind can receive and convert it into some logical actions. Therefore, without the silent animation of heart, the mind can never function dynamically, energetically, and unfastened. Mankind's most prized riches, like feelings of love, affection, kindness, attachment, elation, joy, enlightenment, enthusiasm, generosity, passion, and so on and so forth, are the exclusive blessings of its prized heart. Heart happens to be the lone narrow bridge that bridges the breadth between the imperceptible Almighty and all the breathing organs. Actually, a man reaches perfection when his heart opens up to make him the pioneer. As a great poet has realized, on when I was in love with you, then I was clean and brave, and miles around the wonder grew, how well did it behave. And now the fancy passes by and nothing will remain, and miles they will stay that I am quite myself again. In contrast to heart's characteristics, mind remits some waste negative byproducts that are often wrongly termed as heart's deeds, like hate, detachment, sorrow, depression, and misery, etc. We have to keep in mind that negativity is not the cup of tea for heart. Heart always inspires to live with head held high, even after knowing the fact that it is hard to die but harder to live. There arise occasions when people accuse heart of being impulsive and unheeded of consequences and try to put a mind's rider on heart. But this fallacy and action are totally uncalled for. Mind is never capable enough to get hold of heart. Actually, man makes his own norms of justification and wrong or right according to each and every individual's suitability. That is why hearts. Enterprising deeds may present conflicting projections at different scenarios and different contexts. Therefore, some superficial and cosmetic instances cannot dislodge heart's significance and make it open to question. Like most sincere thinkers, I too strongly opine that open minds are always got to be conditional on the grace of an open heart. In this undeclared and invisible bonding between minds and hearts, the finger holding and guiding force task is always performed by the chieftain heart only. Even if this dispensable comparison goes on and on, it hardly touches the generous magnanimity of heart. As devil's advocate Shakespeare had said rightly that, and therefore, since I cannot prove a lover, I am determined to prove a villain. That's all, guys. We'll end up with this. Thank you. Take care. And bye bye.